camp, and that week literally changed my life. I didn't hang out with Claire or like anyone before this camp, and then I was like, I'll just go to camp, like I'll go and just try something new. And like as soon as I got there, it felt like I was part of this like amazing group. It felt like something completely different than I'd ever been in.
My favorite part of camp was cabin time because all the girls were just so real with each other there, and I just got to make some great new friends.
These past 2 years, basically probably the biggest thing that has impacted me was just the relationships that I've formed.
Camp has really impacted my life throughout these 4 years in high school because it's always been a time where I enjoyed being with friends, being with whoever is there, and making new friends in general.
I was in a cabin with Wheaton South girls and Wheaton North girls. At the beginning of the week, completely separate, opposite sides of the room. But by the end of the week, these girls were hugging and exchanging phone numbers. It was just truly a neat experience to see how 5 days could truly bring together these group of girls.
During cabin time, which was probably my favorite time during camp, we would go out, sit by the lake, and just talk with each other and get really deep at times. You got to know a different side of people that you wouldn't see outside of Young Life.
And we just like really dove deep into these like deeper topics that you don't usually talk about outside of camp. We talk about like where we are in our faith, like things going on in our life, and like we'd all end up crying every single night, but it was just really like refreshing to know what's going on in these people's lives, especially because you like didn't know most of them before.
They give you 15 minutes. Everyone at the camp is like silent, like you get to go and sit wherever you want and just reflect. It's right after club, so like everything's kind of fresh in your mind about like what we're learning about with Jesus, and that just like really like left a big impact on me.
Something that camp that was really significant was when I had my talk with my leader. During that talk, like I could just tell my leader like really cared about what I like to do in my free time, how I was feeling at camp, and like exactly where I was on my journey with Christ. And it was just really nice to feel like I had someone I could talk to the whole weekend, especially when I come home.
They're not just like an adult like who's like teaching you about like Jesus and all this stuff, like they're your friends.
They never judged what you said, and they always accepted it as like, and they didn't view you as like kids as a lot of people do. They like kind of like talk to you like on the same level.
I loved how you could talk to them and like get to know them, and then that they got to come back to Wheaton with us.
She's taught me so much about myself and making me feel like I am worth it, and seeing that through God too, and it really has changed my life.
The camp speaker and just the environment of camp really reduces distraction, so that's huge, and that allows you to get vulnerable and really get to know these kids at a more deeper level. And I think that's Young Life leadership. It's getting to know them, and it's reinforcing that God loves them in the midst of their lives and in the midst of their difficulties.
My leaders started out, my first year of camp started out as just kind of acquaintances. After the first year at Castaway, they became some of my best friends.
Another thing that was really significant for me was not having a phone the whole week. It's really different than life at home. Like usually when you wake up, I like roll over my bed and I pick up my phone. I'm like, okay, let me like scroll through this, scroll through that. But at camp, like I would wake up, I would roll out of bed, and I would just be surrounded by all these people.
I just remember coming home and not ever wanting to see my phone for the next few weeks.
And by the end of the week, I totally forgot I even had a phone, and like being away from social media was the best.
There's a wide range of things and activities that you look forward to during camp, but they all create a really unique atmosphere that's really not possible throughout the year just during different clubs and campaigners. That's why I can't emphasize how amazing camp is, because you get to go and you have so much fun, but you build these deep relationships with middle schoolers or high schoolers, and you end up being friends, but also having a person that you can totally lean on and go to when times are tough or feeling a little bit uncertain.